All right, guys, welcome to the Investor's Guide of Memphis Real Estate. My name is Dean Harris. As always, I'm with Douglas Skipworth. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing great.
Great. We're bringing you this podcast, guys, to give you the boots on the ground knowledge to be a successful real estate investor here in Memphis, Tennessee. Please like and subscribe to the Investor's Guide of Memphis Real Estate on our YouTube channel. You can go like everything on Facebook if you prefer there, or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Show sponsors are listed at the bottom of the screen here today. We would not be here without those guys' support, so we really appreciate them. Weekly Zoom calls. If you guys want to join my weekly Zoom call, it's open for questions. Anything you want to ask or talk about, email me, dean@CrestCore.com. I always tell you guys, too, I help buyers and sellers every day. So if you're buying, selling anything investment property in Memphis, shoot me that email and we'll get you set up. Deal of the week. New.
Bring him back. Throwback.
The deal of the week is making a comeback, folks.
TBT, as my
right.
kids
You know
say.
why, right? You know why, right? Because there's more listings now than there
Absolutely.
have been. We're on a buying rampage. So the deal of the week, 5382 Bruton. It's in Bartlett, 135, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,425 square feet. This one is going to have about a $40,000 rehab job on it, roughly. We need to get that exactly right. The ARV on this is going to be $190,000. And the list price is $145. So you might be saying, "Hey, Dean, that doesn't make a lot of sense." No, it doesn't. You need to offer a little less on this one. It's been sitting there. We need to come down in that 120, 125 range, and then confirm that rehab.
Gotcha. That's right. That's
to make sure that you get the good numbers on this. But this would be a good burr if we can get it a little cheaper. This is a hedge fund seller, so we can probably get this a little less than the list price. Shoot me an email, dean@CrestCore.com, and I'll help you. Why should you invest in Memphis real estate? Why? That's our topic today.
That's a great
We're
topic.
going to follow this up. Last week, we spoke about what happened to our 2023 real estate market crash. It's not happening, or the version of what we were told is not happening.
Right.
So be sure to go back and check that one out, because we're piggybacking now off of that to talk about why Memphis.
Why Memphis?
This one gets me excited. I've chosen to invest here versus anywhere else. I've done homework on other cities. I've looked at other markets and other tenant bases, and I cannot find anything that matches our cash flow and what we're finding here. It really can't. Our job market, the first thing, my headline is our job market. The jobs that we have in our city are set up for tenants.
Yeah.
We have a lot of logistical companies here. FedEx World Headquarters is here. International Paper World Headquarters is here. Nike and Amazon have got huge footprints of plants and factories, distribution centers. I talk about the one up north in Raleigh. Is that Raleigh?
Yeah, Raleigh. It's Raleigh.
It's an Amazon and a Nike plant. I think Nike was 600,000 square feet. Amazon was 850,000 square feet of warehouse distribution.
Huge.
Byhalia, Mississippi, which is basically a suburb of Memphis. They got a 1 million square foot place going down there right now. So all of this tells me that the jobs in our city are set up for tenants. And it's been like this for a long time. This isn't new information.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party. If you guys are just kind of
going,
figuring it out.
But it's still going.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you said that, why Memphis?
Yeah.
And I was like, 2 words, and then I was like, it's more than 2 words.
Yeah, of course.
2 points, right?
Yeah.
Strong cash flow.
Yeah.
And steady appreciation.
Yeah.
That's it. Strong cash flow and steady appreciation.
Yes.
6 words.
This has been
2 concepts, which is what, and that thing getting on, you go ahead and then we'll go back to the jobs.
I was just talking about consistency when you say that. You can
I
tell that we're
I almost said consistent cash flow and steady appreciation, but I was like, no, it's strong cash flow. The rent to price ratio, which we'll talk about later, is what makes Memphis so great. And you've got appreciation. It's icing on the cake. It's the cherry on top.
We used to not have much.
The double dip.
We used to not have much appreciation.
No.
There hasn't. Now, last 5, 6, 7 years, we're seeing both. We're seeing the cash flow and the appreciation. One thing I like to mention, and then we'll move on. Why I made this decision. Our topic is why Memphis. And when I was going through this, I was a new real estate agent in the business. I was talking to you about should I, shouldn't I? Why are you? Why is this? And then as the years kind of went on, we started to work together in 2011. It's like you had been buying real estate for 10 years at that point. And, my question to myself, to you, everything was about why? Like, what are you doing this for? I looked at you as a mentor,
Sure.
someone who's definitely
more experienced.
And I was like, why are you sticking with this? And the common thing every time was, it's consistent. It's been a good 3122 over here has been a rental pocket for as long as I can remember being alive. And I have 10 over 12, whatever over there now, and they're still staying the same way. So consistency, I like to take some chances, but not a whole lot of chances with my future and my retirement, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when I started thinking about investing into my future in retirement, I did not see the stock market as something that I was comfortable with because I don't know enough about it and it's too risky. I was looking around at different types of businesses and different type of things to maybe invest in, because as a real estate agent, we don't have 401ks. We don't have retirement sets up or accounts set up for us unless you do it on your own, right? So I began to think and wonder, like, what is it going to be? And I had just got my real estate license. I'm sitting in a new construction model. Like, the thing was sitting in front of my face, and I still didn't realize it then until talking to you and getting to know you a little bit. And it's like the consistency.
Yes.
If you do this the right way, meaning take care of your home, vet your tenants properly, all the other things that we've talked about on countless podcasts, you are going to be successful.
Yes.
The level of success will depend on you. But if you stay consistent, you buy in areas that have been consistent. And guys, I don't send them out. You notice I don't send out 38106 houses. There's some gentrification going on over there, but I'm not sending you that to take a chance. Right. In 5 years, there might stop that and it goes back to what it was. I'm not doing it. I send out properties in these areas that have historically been good tenant base areas. There's probably 12 or 13 zip codes, if you guys are listening, that I send them out in. It's the only ones that I buy in.
Yeah.
So the consistency for me, I wanted to make sure that I got that little spiel out. That
stable,
consistency is
consistent, steady. We talked about it. It doesn't have those wild swings that you get in other markets that we read about. I think of Phoenix. I think of Vegas. I think of some places sometimes.
Man, it really swings back and forth.
Smooth so bad.
Yeah.
And here, it's always been like it. Like
there's little dips here and there, but it's just not as drastic. It's
just so much more steady, and it's just up and to the right.
And for me, it's like, I do other things that maybe take chances, like I'll flip a house, right? Or do some other things that I take chances on a little bit that maybe I wouldn't. But buying my rental properties that I'm going to hold and pass to my kids are not anything that I want to get creative on. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I think that's good. And that's a good word of advice, is like, you get a core and then you take chances on the margin or on the fringe once you've got your core. I think I'm maybe surprised, maybe not surprised. I love pickleball.
Yeah.
So I've been playing a lot of pickleball.
Okay, good.
And you played 11, and it's doubles, mostly what I play. And when you get up, you say you're up 7-2.
Yeah.
Then you can start taking chances.
That's right.
You can do some things that, like, hey, you're going to play a little more conservative until you get a good lead. And if you got a good cushion, you can start taking some chances. That's the same thing you're saying, is like, you got to build up a base. You got to get a good lead. Yeah. And then then you can take those chances.
That's right. And that's what I tell people too, clients that are coming in that are doing, come in and buy you 2 or 3 conservative, cash flowing, higher end markets, lower returns, but safe before you start a burr.
Yes.
I do the same thing. So I try to keep you guys consistent in my information. Housing costs are still low. If you go and look at a home in Bartlett, never mind that. Take a home in Raleigh. Let's go a little lower. Take a $120,000 house in Raleigh, 1,500 square feet, 3.2.
Okay.
And you put that in 5 other rental cities right now, it's $250.
Right.
So to tell me that you can't come into our city and get a house that's affordable, even with the higher interest rates, you're just not looking hard enough. You're not looking hard enough. You're not looking in the right places. Yes. So housing prices are still low compared to the Atlantas and Kansas Cities, even, and St. Louis's, and places where we get compared to sometimes as far as investment purposes, cash flow. You imagine buying a house in Dallas? You're from Dallas? A 1,500 square foot 3.2 in Dallas with any kind of yard. I mean, it'd be $300,000.
It's so different.
So,
and it's that price. It's that rent to price ratio that you were talking about that has always been very favorable in Memphis and continues to be, because it's out of whack. The coasts, east and west coasts, and these big cities where people are moving to, things get out of whack.
Yeah,
that's why Memphis is steady,
staying steady,
and it's got strong cash flow because of that, with steady appreciation.
And in 20 years, with Blue Oval City coming, I think it's going to stay the same. Let's talk about that for a second. This is a lot bigger than what I think people are giving it the credit for. And it's because it's a slow burn. This is, you know what I mean? This is a Blue Oval. And for those of you who don't know,
it's important, not urgent in those categories.
It's a slow burn. But I will tell you, to get a hold of this slow burn now is, and what I mean by get a hold is just the knowledge. So Blue Oval City, guys, is right outside of Brownsville, Tennessee, where you know the mileage. We're mile marker 9.
It is exit 42.
So we're
30
miles away. 30-minute drive, 25-minute drive in. And most of you guys that are in California now, you're talking about a 30-minute drive in and you're having a party. You're celebrating.
Yeah.
Some folks here are still like, 30 minutes away. But in 20 years, this is going to be nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And for those of you that don't know, Blue Oval City is Ford Company's electric vehicle line.
Mega ship. I mean, it's
and they're
their
building
factory.
them all.
Yeah.
All
the
of them.
trucks.
All of them are going to be coming up. Is it just trucks up here?
Yeah.
So
to start,
all the EV trucks are going to be
which is the best selling. The F Series is the best selling
ones.
Car.
Yes.
So I mean,
8,000 jobs they say when it's completed. 3,500 will be the first phase. 8,000 will be the end result. But so 8,000 jobs, guys. I don't know what that means to you, but it sounds to me like that entire area is going to close the gap between Brownsville and Memphis. Now, that's going to take some time.
Yeah, Lakeland, Arlington, Oakland,
all
that
are going to stretch. Well, also Raleigh.
Yeah.
And maybe even Berkeley are here because you can get on and be there in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like not every one of those employees are going to be high-level executives. As a matter of fact, 98% of them are going to be hourly employees.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are tenants typically.
Well, and not to mention all of the surrounding business that comes to support that.
Yes.
And I actually drove by 3 days ago.
Really?
Massive. It's so big.
Could you imagine getting the concrete contract on that?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And it was awesome. It was just in the middle. And man, I got a 16-year-old son and we were driving and he was like, "What's that?" And
he was driving, or you?
I was driving, and that's good. He just got his license yesterday. We were driving, and I was like, "That's Blue. What's that, Daddy? What's that, Daddy?" "Oh, that's Blue Oval City." And I just go through all that spiel, and he kind of looks around, and I was like, "Things will kind of start happening around here." And he goes, "Man, they'll need some housing out here." I was like,
"Yes."
Boy, apple don't fall far from the tree. I love it, man. I like the way you think.
That's right. They need
awesome.
Housing, and builders are out there now.
Just the way you think, you're like, you can't just sit out here in the middle of nowhere, because you drive by some of those. There are some plants in North Mississippi, where there's a big Toyota plant.
Oh yeah,
in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. This isn't the middle of nowhere. Mm-mm. This is 30 minutes from our office. Mm-hmm. So it's like 30 miles, maybe less than 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so it's like, it is, the opportunity is incredible. So, but I guess in all you're saying is this is a big, long tailwind that Memphis has behind it.
And aren't we all in this for the long haul? So to me, that's extremely important. Yes, slow burn, long tailwind, everything from up there is going to just gradually help. And I don't mean, we mentioned Oakland, Lakeland, because, Arlington, all of that is close to up there, right? The closest.
Yes, the closest.
That will probably be the first that's immediately affected. But you can't tell me the trickle-down effect is going to come down into the lower income. You don't mean to tell me, I don't want to live in Brownsville. It is. I mean, it's out there. I want to live in Memphis. I don't mind the 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to turn into.
Right.
Maybe there'll be an apartment complex that'll pop up there that would be a good idea.
And not
or
to
something
mention
like that.
Not to mention some of the suppliers and other folks that come alongside that might not locate at exit 42.
Yes.
Maybe they locate at the exit 15.
That's what I'm
exit
saying.
20, exit 30.
That's more of what I'm talking about.
There are people who work at there.
there.
So, and it reminds me, I hadn't thought about it this way because you mentioned I'm from Dallas. I went to school in Nashville, and both of those markets have changed completely.
Exploded.
I'm not saying Memphis and Nashville and Dallas are all comparable, but I am saying that when I was growing up in Dallas, you could see trends happening that wow, have they blown up like crazy. I think of Plano, Frisco, just because Plano was big when I was little. Now it's Frisco and everything north of Dallas. It was very easy to see.
Yeah,
It's very easy to see that it was coming.
Well, that's what I'm talking about now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I was in Nashville in the 90s and early 2000s. And when I was graduating college in 1996, they said, Nashville is 30 years behind Atlanta. And I was like, well, whatever, maybe. And you fast forward and you're like, oh my gosh, it is Atlanta. I mean, it did everything they said. So you could see it coming. I was too young in both of those instances, but looking back. So I'm not exactly saying this Memphis, but like that. But I'm saying Blue Oval and what we're talking about, you can see it coming.
You can see it coming because
it's going to be transformative.
And it won't be the last because it's going to be successful.
It won't be the last.
Other companies are going to see that. They're going to see the playbook for our area and our market.
And that's exactly what happened in Dallas and Nashville.
One big one came in.
And then another.
And then another. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. So 20 years from now, in 2043, golly, I can't even hardly say that. I mean, what was it in 2001 here? 22 years ago, or 2003 here, 20 years ago. So I'm telling you guys that there's a long tailwind. There's a slow burn here in Memphis. I'm excited about all the things that happen. And the last little point I wanted to make was our airport redevelopment. Like we're putting tons of money. I like to look at things that they're trying to make better, and long lasting. And they're completely redoing our airport, a little bit at a time, grant you, but they're completely redoing that. So putting the money into those kinds of things show me that they're working on infrastructure. They're working on more roads here than I've seen in a long time. Lamar, they're completely redoing Lamar.
Yeah, I told you they're closing.
The bridge is about to close down to redo that
over the Mississippi River. They're doing things, and they talk about Memphis having the 4 R's. They've got the runways. FedEx is here. It's a second between Hong Kong. They of the largest cargo airport in the world against Hong Kong every year. Yes. Memphis. So I mean, FedEx planes. So they've got a huge, like you just said, they just redid the airport. They've got roads. You talked about it, I-40, I-55,
Lamar.
Everything's coming 22. So there's a lot of road stuff that happens here. They've got rails. There are 5 intermodals here, which is, I think there are only maybe 3 or 4 cities that are more intermodal transportation where you can take rails, you can take
cars, the carts from the rail,
from the big rigs to the rails, that they can do that here. And the last, we've got the river. The old Mississippi River. So there's a lot of action that happens. So those 4 R's make a big difference in Memphis. And keep Memphis as a transportation city. It's why FedEx is here. It's why Amazon's here. It's why Nike's here. It's why Ford's going to be here. It's so centrally located. It's so centrally located. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not to mention you can drive to, with a day's drive, you can get to 80% of the population of the country.
If you're ever curious too about our logistical jobs, just Google map Shelby Drive. And go from east to west on Shelby Drive, and you count the warehouses, and you count that's going on up there.
And so the last thing I'd say about Memphis, which maybe I should have put earlier, is that Memphis from a rental perspective, and I think we've mentioned this before, but like if you're in the acting, the entertainment business, you're going to LA. If you're in the finance business, you're going to New York. If you're in the tech business, you're going to Silicon Valley. Because those places have a network of it's built up an infrastructure to service that. Memphis has built up an infrastructure to service rental properties.
Yes.
It's got the jobs, it's got the companies. It's also got all of the teams that you need. You got agents like yourself who know how to help. You got closing attorneys like our sponsors, Local Title, Will Griffin. You got constructions like Odyssey Construction. You got property management companies like CrestCore, who's a show sponsor. You got hard money lenders like show sponsor Corlin. You've got wholesalers who do this. So you've got this really big infrastructure of people who understand rental property. So it's super smooth, and it just all flows and takes place. And the city of Memphis and Shelby County government understand that.
Yes.
And
have adapted it.
And so the code enforcement is our friend, right? Because they help us make things better. They don't hinder us. We don't have a lot of red tape on having to get a lot of permits that other markets have.
They
that
want you to
mentioned.
fix it.
They want you to fix it, get it ready. They want you to rent it. They want to have affordable housing for people. They want it to be nice and livable. And the Tennessee is a very landlord friendly state.
Yeah.
So there's
a lot of things in our favor here. From a hey, I'm going to go invest in real estate and sit down. Where do I go? There's a lot of things in Memphis that you just quoted and stated right there that are tools for me that are so easy. Whereas you go into another smaller place, another city, and you look around, it's like it's hard. I had a guy come in, he was investing somewhere north in Idaho, I think. Couldn't find agents that sold investment.
Couldn't find agents, can't find property management companies.
They just couldn't.
Closing attorneys who don't know how to do it, haven't seen assignment fees, don't see wholesalers. The insurance,
we got a city full of it.
Agents don't want to insure rental property. I mean, it's like, no.
Yeah.
We're set up for it. So I just wanted to mention that point as the last.
Anything else before we go?
No, man. That's Memphis.
We can sit here and talk about this
strong
a long
cash
time.
flow, steady appreciation.
I would leave with that. That's the main reason why we're here, and it kind of that circles everything we spoke about today. Yes. Thank you, man. I appreciate your time.
That's a good show.
If you guys have any questions, Dean at CrestCore.com. We'll be back with you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, see you. Bye.